Hello and welcome to one and all. Through this video, I am uploading the 2 marks questions along with answers of the second unit, that is Demography and Human Resource Development. And along with that, I have also mentioned in which are all the years some of the questions have been asked previously in the board exam and how frequently they have been asked. And based on that, I think you can have an idea of some of the important 2 mark questions in this second unit. Okay, so the first question is the birth rate. So birth rate refers to the ratio of number of births per 1000 population in a year. So that is out of the total population, taking 1000 population, 1000 people, how many births are happening in a particular country in a year. So that is the meaning of birth rate. That is refers to the ratio of number of births per 1000 population in a year. The growth rate of population is a function of birth rate, death rate, and the level and direction of migration. So basically, how do we calculate the growth rate of population? It is birth rate minus death rate. But some of the countries, some people might move out of the country, or some people might move into the country. Okay, so if more and more people are moving into the country, it is added. If more and more people are moving out of the country, it is subtracted. So birth rate plus or minus migration of the people and minus death rate. That is how the growth rate of population is calculated. But as far as India is concerned, the migration problem is, we don't have that kind of migration problem, so we need not have to consider about the migration. So basically it is the birth rate minus death rate. So that's why, but in India, migration is insignificant and need not be considered. Okay, the second question is the death rate. So same like birth rate, but only thing is here we are calculating the number of deaths per 1000 population. So death rate refers to the ratio of number of deaths per 1000 population in a year. Death rate depends upon the level of health and medical facilities available in a country. More advanced the availability of health and medical facilities in a country, lesser will be the death rate, and vice versa. The next question is infant mortality rate, IMR. So this question has been asked quite frequently in the previous board exam papers. As you can see, this has been asked in March 2022, 2020, 2016 and 2014. So the answer is infant mortality rate, IMR, refers to ratio of number of deaths per 1000 born children in a year. So infant mortality rate is similar to the death rate, but only thing is here we are considering only the children. Okay, out of the 1000 children born, how many children are dying before reaching the age of 1 year. So please don't forget to mention 1000 born children, okay, for infant mortality rate. Availability of proper medical facilities and institutional deliveries. Institutional deliveries means deliveries happening in hospitals or nursing homes. Reduce the IMR in a particular country. Okay. The fourth question is maternal mortality. Maternal mortality refers to ratio of number of delivery deaths for 1 lakh women in a year. That is, out of the 1 lakh women giving delivery to a child, how many women are dying at the time of delivery. Okay, so that's what it means, ratio of number of delivery deaths for 1 lakh women in a year. In underdeveloped countries, the maternal mortality rate is high due to lack of proper medical facilities and absence of institutional deliveries. Just make a note of it that all the other data, that is the birth rate, death rate and infant mortality rate, they are all calculated out of 1000. But whereas maternal mortality rate is calculated out of 1 lakh women. Please make a note of it. Okay. The next one is the sex ratio. So the sex ratio refers to number of females per 1000 males. So how many females are there in a particular country per 1000 males? That is the sex ratio. Sex ratio in India declined from 972 in 1901 to 940 in 2011, which is a disturbing feature. Actually, why we are saying it's a disturbing feature is the sense that almost all the developed countries, they are having more number of females than males. That is what is called as a favorable sex ratio. But whereas in India, it is unfavorable. That is, number of females per males are lesser, and at the same time it has also decreased. So it was 972 in 1901 and it decreased to 940 in 2011. So that is why it is called as a disturbing feature. And Kerala is the only state in India which is having the favorable sex ratio, that is more number of females than males, that is 1084 females per 1000 males in 2011. This is as per the 2011 census. The next question is population explosion. So this question has been asked twice out of the 7 times, March 2022 and 2017. Population explosion occurs when the population of a country increases faster than the food supply, and this imbalance leads to overpopulation. And now why the population of the country increases faster than the food supply? Because the birth rate will be high and the death rate decreases very fast. So if the birth rate is higher than the death rate, automatically there will be too much of people in a country. So that leads to overpopulation. Automatically the food supply cannot catch up with the number of people, isn't it? We cannot produce that much. Food grains cannot be, all the people will not be getting the sufficient quantity of food grain. The production will not happen that fast. So this happens during the second stage of demographic transition. So the demographic transition, there are 3 stages. In the first stage, it is high birth rate and high death rate. Second stage, high birth rate accompanied by low death rate. And the third stage is, which is happening in the all the developed countries, low birth rate and low death rate. So the second stage, when the birth rate is high compared to the death rate, the death rate falls very rapidly. So birth rate will be high and death rate will be low, and this is the stage where the population explosion happens. Okay. Then the next question is the contraceptives. One of the methods to control birth rate and population growth is usage of contraceptives. So in India, the government is taking initiatives to make contraceptives widely available, the response is not encouraging from certain sections due to lack of education and religious beliefs. Certain sections, especially in the rural area, because of they are not aware of the problems of overpopulation, and also because of the outdated religious beliefs, they are not cooperating with the government, even though the government is making the contraceptives widely available, including the rural areas. Okay, so contraceptives is one of the main methods to control the growth rate of population and the birth rate in the family or in a country. Okay, the next question is literacy rate. This question also has been asked several times, March 2020, 2018, 2017, 2015. That is, out of the total population, what is the percentage of population aged 7 years and above? They are literate. So that is how the literacy rate is calculated. So literacy rate refers to the ratio of percentage of 7 years and above age literate population to the total population, which is mentioned in the form of a formula. Literates of 7 years and above aged population divided by total population multiplied by 100. It's a printing mistake. Please make a note of it. It is multiplied by 100. Okay. The next question is the National Rural Health Mission, that is NRHM. It was introduced, it increased the quality of health in the rural areas by strengthening the rural health infrastructure. So how to increase the rural health infrastructure? By increasing it was planned to increase the number of hospitals, primary and community health centers, staff nurses, ASHAs, that is accredited social health activists, and other medical professionals in the rural areas. So if the number of hospitals, number of nurses, number of paramedical staff, a number of other medical professionals are all increased in the rural areas, then the quality of health, the rural infrastructure will be increased. Okay, so that is the National Rural Health Mission. The next question is Janani Suraksha Yojana, which is very frequently asked, March 2022, 2020, 2018, 2017 and 2016. So 5 times this question have been asked out of 7 times. So Janani Suraksha Yojana scheme, JSY, was introduced with the dual objectives of reducing maternal and infant mortality by promoting institutional deliveries. So because of the lack of institutional deliveries, these two rates are very high in the underdeveloped countries. Both the maternal mortality and the infant mortality rates are high because of lack of institutional deliveries. So if the institutional deliveries are promoted, automatically both the maternal mortality and the infant mortality rate can be controlled. So it is a 100% centrally sponsored scheme, that is financially it is sponsored by the central government and integrates cash assistance with the medical care. So the beneficiaries will be provided both the financial assistance as well as the proper medical care. So that is the Janani Suraksha Yojana scheme. The next question is the National Urban Health Mission. So just like the National Rural Health Mission, for the urban people, the government started the National Urban Health Mission in NUHM, was introduced to meet the health needs of urban poor. So who are all the beneficiaries? Especially example, slum dwellers, that is people who are residing in slums, and other marginalized dwellers, very very poorer section, marginalized people who may be in slums or on sites. So either they are living on slums or on the streets or the sites. So this program covers all cities with a population of 1 lakh and above. Okay. So the next question is the Gender Empowerment Measure. Gender Empowerment Measure, GEM, focuses on women's participation in economic and political life and their power over economic resources. That means how much percentage of women in a particular country are occupying a very higher positions in the form of CEOs, managers, chartered accountants, collectors, doctors, and how much percentage of women are there in the political field, ministers, MLAs, and what is the per capita income of women compared to the male average per capita income of females in a particular country compared to the males. So that is the power over economic resources. So GEM was introduced by UNDP, that is United Nations Development Program, in its HDR, that is Human Development Report, in 1995. So every year the United Nations releases the Human Development Report. So this GEM was introduced by the United Nations in its report in 1995. Okay. So gender empowerment measure, if more number of women are in the political field, if more number of women are having the higher positions in like a CEOs, MDs, that then if more, their share of per capita income is more, means there is a in the gender there is no gender differences in a particular country. That is one of the indicators of economic development of a particular country. So that is why this measure is used. Okay. The next one is the Human Poverty Index, HPI. So this question has been asked in March 2018 and 2016. Human Poverty Index, HPI, concentrates on deprivation. Deprivation means some of the people are not having certain things. Now, what these people are not having in 3 basic elements of human life. Longevity, that is life expectancy, knowledge, that education, and a decent standard of living. Their income is very low, they are not having a decent standard of living. So HPA was introduced by UNDP in its HDR, that is a Human Development Report, in 1997. Okay. So gender empowerment measure was introduced in 1995. Human Poverty Index was introduced in 1997. Human Poverty Index takes 3 elements: the longevity, knowledge, and decent standard of living, whereas the multi-dimensional poverty index is an extended version of Human Poverty Index. Okay. So now these are all the 2 marks questions along with the answers in the second unit, Demography and Human Resource Development. So you can see which are all the important questions. So concentrate more on those kind of questions. Okay. So if you find this video useful, please like, share, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. So until my next class, take care. Bye bye.